First thing, I just want to recap from the Turkish Get Up. I know there's a lot of stuff in the Turkish Get Up, but with limited time, at least I just wanted to introduce the idea to you. And I want you to understand like 5 big mistakes that people do when they're trying to do the Turkish Get Up. Okay? And it doesn't matter the variation, the version that they're doing, but there's 5 mistakes people always tend to make. One is that when they pick it up, they tend to just grab the bell from the side and yank it onto their body. So they'll do something like this. They'll reach out and just pull it up, okay? This is a mistake. This is not good for safety, right? 2, they don't have the kettlebell handle 45 degrees in their hand, the way that it should be. So they're holding like this, like they're serving a pizza and trying to come up and do the Turkish Get Up. This is way too much pressure on the wrist. You should always have it 45 degrees and your wrist is straight, okay? Does that make sense? So that's number 2. Number 3, when they're doing the Turkish Get Up, that's a mistake, is they don't understand why they have a bent leg. You'll sometimes see people set up like this. If this leg is supposed to be driving and this is supposed to be coming up, what would happen if I set up this way? I get stuck, okay? So you have to have the proper leg bent and the other one extended and everything grounded, nice tension, all right? So that's number 3. Number 4, which is always my favorite, moving the kettlebell from one side to the other. Do you know what the most common way for people to move the kettlebell from one side to the other is? Something like that. This is actually the most common way for people to move the bell. They move it right across their face with a bent wrist. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you want to move the bell and you're going to practice, yeah, pick it up like this, yeah, like almost like a little Russian twist. This is not bad, it's a good way to do it. If you're a little bit smarter, you could just kind of move yourself. And if you were like the David Blaine of kettlebells and you want the kettlebell to appear magically on your other hip, you could just do that, right? And then life would be much easier, okay? So there's lots of ways to do it without, risking injury, okay? The other thing, and the most important thing when you're doing a Turkish Get Up is to think about a column. And a column is a very sound structure. It can support a lot of load. But if you're not making columns and you're not properly aligned, you'll never be able to load this heavy, right? So if I'm here and I'm lined up and I think about the arms as a column, I can support a lot of load. If I'm like this, can I support the same amount? No. So you want to think of things as a column. Right? It's the same thing in gymnastics, it's the same thing with body weight movements. You always see people doing, everybody wants to learn how to do, that kind of stuff. But if you don't have a column, could I balance? No, I'm going to fall over, right? So you have to really understand those simple basics. And that's why we always start with the body weight stuff first, to teach you those body basics and that alignment. Then you move to things like a kettlebell for external resistance. Okay, I know that's a lot. So, do you guys have any questions before I let you go and you run off to the next thing where you get tons of info? Yeah.